Hey, Blake T. Wild here, and welcome back to The Ultimate Era, where I am covering as much Ultimate Marvel Original Universe comics as I possibly can, and I am still working my way through it, and I am enjoying it more and more as we progress. Sure, I might have given myself Ultimate Stockholm Syndrome, but who cares when there are comics to be read? As always, this episode is brought to you by my Patreon, patreon.com/Smokey's videos, where you get early access to all the videos when available, and all of my comics on there as well, along with movie commentaries and more. Check it out. And it's also brought to you by my Etsy shop, blaketwild.etsy.com, where you can pick up the physical copies of my comics. Every purchase comes with a free head sketch of any character of your choosing. Released in 2006, written by Damon Lindelof, with art by Lionel Francis Yu, this is Ultimate Wolverine vs. Hulk. The story begins in media res as James Howlett, aka Logan, aka Lucky Jim, aka the Wolverine, lies bloodied in the snow, and a flash crosses his mind of the Hulk ripping him in half. Wolverine sniffs for his other half, about 4 miles away, up a mountain, and begins the arduous process of mountain climbing as he grows more and more pissed off at Nick Fury for getting him into this mess. Flashback time! A week prior, Wolverine meets with Nick Fury at a S.H.I.E.L.D. office in Harlem. Fury offers Logan a cigar, and he tells Old Patch to just get to the point. Fury asks why Logan thinks he's here, and Logan breaks down the situation and notes that since they aren't at the Triskelion, whatever it is that Fury wants needs to be kept on a need-to-know basis, and Logan asks who the two women are behind the painting. Fury sighs, and the painting digitally fades away to reveal a window and a room containing Betty Ross and Dr. Jennifer Walters. Fury calls them out there, since they may as well officially join the conversation, and later they bring Logan to a genetics lab within the building, and Betty Ross is pissed that Nick Fury brought this mutant freak to work on a S.H.I.E.L.D. Ultimates problem. Fury tells her to shut up. Fury brings out a jar containing the Hulk's shit, because it was discovered by S.H.I.E.L.D. a day prior, and Logan says that he thought that they nuked him or something. Fury tells him they did, but he was a bit tougher than expected. Logan asks how long they've known he's alive, and Fury reveals that it's not been too long, but there have been some strange events throughout the European and Asian countries that added up. Logan laughs that Fury and the PR chick brought him to save their jobs, and Fury sternly tells Logan he was brought in to find and kill the Hulk once and for all. But Betty corrects him. They need Logan to find and kill Bruce. Logan asks what the difference is. So Logan tells him that he needs the scent and where they found the shit. Fury orders Walters to get him the scent, and that they found the shit in Tibet. So Jennifer takes him to a secret vault where they have a few drops of Bruce's original gamma blood serum available. She removes it from the container, Logan gives it a sniff, and Jen asks that when he does find Bruce to please make it quick. And a few days later in Tibet, Logan drinks at a bar and asks the bartender where all the girls are in town. Bartender says he doesn't speak English, as Logan catches a whiff of something. And a half hour later, he follows some men from a rooftop and watches the transaction take place. And a few hours after that, Logan tracks a shepherd up into the mountains to a long-forgotten monastery, and he infiltrates it to find the Hulk with a massive harem. Flashback time. Right before that nuke was detonated, Banner turned into the Hulk and launched himself with the blast, and Hulk realized how stupid Banner was for trusting them. He then swam through the Atlantic Ocean until he washed up on the beach of Normandy as Bruce Banner. A month later, Banner, under the name David, is undergoing therapy in Paris until the therapist makes him angry when she keeps bringing up his issues with Betty, and he hulks out. A month after that, Banner has fled to Ireland and got work as a farmhand named Bixby, until the owners of the land ridicule him for being a vegan one too many times, and the Hulk eats them and their livestock. Sometime after that, Banner returns to America and secretly seeks out the help of Tony Stark, and the events of Ultimate Human, aka Iron Man vs. Hulk, play out. Check out that video, the comic is pretty good. And after the Hulk escapes and flees the country once again, Bruce Banner ends up in India. He tries to call Betty, but can't bring himself to say anything, and hears another man's voice who asks who is calling, and he hulks out. Another month after the Indian accident, Banner climbs his way into a Tibetan monastery, and inside he finds a frail old man who welcomes him inside, and the monk asks who Banner is and why he traveled so far. Bruce explains that he's come looking for the Panchen Lama in hopes of curing him of his anger. The monk asks why he thinks the llama can help, and Bruce says that he's the wisest man in the world, and then asks if this is like a Yoda thing or something, and the monk is actually playing dumb and is really the llama himself. The monk laughs and introduces himself as Steve, and then leads Bruce inside for some hot cocoa. Later, Bruce sits in the temple drinking his hot chocolate when a young boy, the reincarnation of the Panchen Lama, appears. The two wax philosophical, and Lama invites Bruce to walk with him. He asks why he's really here, revealing that the person who guided Bruce to the temple ran their fingerprints through Interpol and contacted contacted Steve and the llama about Banner's arrival. They head inside to a massive prayer room full of monks, and the llama tells Bruce that he knows he's come about curing the Hulk, and wonders what would happen if Bruce simply looked at it from another way. Bruce tells him that the Hulk is out of control. It is a dangerous, murderous cannibal. The llama says that he's talking about it like he isn't the Hulk. Bruce gets annoyed and tells him that he's not the Hulk. And the llama poses a question. What if it's not Banner that turns into the Hulk, but instead the Hulk that turns into Banner? And back in the present, Wolverine arrives, and the Hulk grimaces as he snicks his claws and invites Logan inside for some hot cocoa. Then, just over 3 years later, the next issue comes out. That's right, issue 2 was February 2006. Issue 3 would not be released until March 2009. Due to issues with the script not being completed by the time and Lionel Yu, who was working on Secret Invasion at that moment, it was postponed and then finally completed. So that meant that before issue 3 was ever released, Marvel had to re-release issues 1 and 2 to catch people up. And issue 3 tries to do this cute little thing where it's like, oh, let's play with time. We have to go back to catch up. Oh, no, that's too far. We went too far back. People aren't going to know what blah, 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 blah. It pretty much wasting the first 6 pages of this book as an out-of-order sequence that just doesn't work with anything else in this book. Wolverine is shocked, and Hulk invites him in. Logan makes his way through a sea of women, noting that he's kind of surprised that a 20-foot monster with a harem just offered him hot chocolate. Hulk asks if Fury sent him here to kill him, and Logan asks who Fury is. Then tells Hulk that if he was trying to kill Bruce, he wouldn't have given him the decency of meeting face to face. But he does note that this is not what he expected. Hulk mockingly asks why the leader of S.H.I.E.L.D. would ever be entirely truthful, and Logan asks how he's smart now. Hulk prepares some drink and tells him that he used to be an animal, like Logan. Then he decided to stop being so angry and offers him to try as well. Logan snarls, and Hulk asks if the reason he agreed to kill a stranger is to, in a way, use violence to compensate for his own lack of identity, family, and love. Logan tells Hulk and Banner that they know nothing about him, but Hulk reveals that he knows what Fury had on file when he ordered the Ultimates after the X-Men after Magneto was found to be alive. Logan asks why, if the Hulk is so much about love and all that, does Betty want him dead? Hulk demands that Logan leave immediately, and tell Fury he just couldn't find him, to give up. Hulk begins referring to himself in the third person for some reason as his mouth and eyes starts twitching, and Logan smirks and asks if he's losing his cool. Then he realizes the Hulk is right and excuses him. But before he leaves, Logan wants to know something, because he's a decent guy and all that. He wants to know if Hulk, Bruce, wouldn't mind if he, take a swing at Betty, maybe ask her out for dinner sometime, since he's obviously over her. And Hulk rockets his fist into Wolverine, crashing him through the wall and into the Himalayas. They lay into each other as they cascade down the mountain from the temple until Hulk rips Logan in half and asks which leg Wolverine wants him to eat, the right or the left. Hulk explains that if he doesn't pick one, he'll just stick it back on and come running after him again. And he can't have that happening. Logan grimaces and tells Banner that he'll keep running after him if he has to shove a goddamn tree branch in the stump. Then a sonic boom echoes over them and a Quinjet soars through the sky as a figure falls to them and crashes in the snow, and the She-Hulk appears. Another flashback time. A few months ago, Freddie Prinze Jr. and Betty Ross lie in bed together after banging when the phone rings. Freddie answers. No one picks up, and Betty realizes that it must have been Bruce. And then a few days ago, when Fury met with Logan, Betty and Jen were arguing over bringing Wolverine on this. Then Jen asked if she can have some samples of the Hulk serum because she thinks she's worked on a way to make it better. Not long after, Tony and Steve play table tennis when Betty walks in and asks why she wasn't told that Fury had found out that Bruce was alive. She tries to convince them to stop Wolverine from killing Bruce, and says that it's not his fault that the execution didn't work. Then she argues that they should just give him a free pass, as Tony winds up his iron arm, which was made for him by the imprisoned mutant Forge for this exact purpose of winning against Steve in table tennis, and asks if she wants them to register Bruce like he's a car and give him a license and regulate when he hulks out or something. Tony destroys the ball, and Steve says that it's not a bad idea. Tony adds that it's not a good idea either. using the Hulk as a weapon on legs, and sure hopes that that doesn't happen in the future. Tony tells Betty to drop it because they did what they could, and now the people understand the situation, need to handle it. And the next day, Jen tests her reworked serum on a gerbil when Betty barges in on the experiment, and the gerbil hulks the fuck out, but it just kind of sits there gerbil-like. Jen tells Betty not to freak out because it's working. It's all the Hulk with none of the rampage. Betty whispers that she didn't authorize this, and Jen laughs in her face and pets the animal. And the day after that, as Wolverine arrives in the small Tibetan village, Nick Fury is interrupted at the shooting range by Betty, who complains that Jennifer Walters is a traitor and needs to be arrested. Fury tells her to stuff it, because Walters is too obsessed with gene splicing to even think of betrayal, and he hands her the rifle as Betty reveals that she hacked into Jen's email, found out that she's trying to sell a new serum to Chinese buyers, and is setting up a drop tomorrow night. Betty doesn't know where, but Jen has been pestering her to let her use the serum on her as a human trial. Betty suggests that Fury let her do it so that they can follow Jen and catch her red-handed. Fury asks if she would send him on a wild goose chase because she has personal issues with Jennifer Walters, and Betty simply tells her that she wants her to be stopped so they don't have another Bruce on their hands. And the next morning, Betty orders a Quinjet to be readied, and the operator tells her that they need Fury's authorization, so she plays a secret recording she made the day before of Fury saying, give her what she's asking for. And a few hours later, Walters makes contact with the Chinese buyer, a handoff is conducted, and S.H.I.E.L.D. rush onto the scene with Fury in the lead, only to find out that she's buying a leaked copy of a new Star Trek film a month before it's released. She asks what the hell they're doing, and Fury learns that she fixed the Hulk serum and realizes that Betty Ross played his ass like a fiddle. And we're back in the present. Betty says hi to Bruce and explains that she did all of this to rescue him. Hulk gets angry that he doesn't need to be rescued, and Logan tells her that he talks like a caveman now. And Hulk begins to cry and says that she broke Hulk's heart. Then he explodes in anger that he'll break her too. Hulk grabs Betty in his hand and launches himself away across the mountains and tries to kill her. They fight as Logan tries to reach his goddamn legs. Then a shield missile is launched and Hulk leaps at it. Betty screams that she still loves Bruce, and the bomb detonates. Then Logan is standing in a field of bamboo, and a panda bear says hi. Logan says howdy, and the panda introduces itself as his spirit animal. Logan laughs, and the panda attacks him, so he fights a fucking panda, and then Logan wakes up in the Triskelion. Fury greets him and explains that they brought him here after the missile strike, and Logan realizes he's just a head. He kindly asks for his body to be returned to him, and asks how Fury knew he wouldn't die if he was decapitated. Fury smirks and tells Lucky Jim that they know everything about him. Then he explains that Logan's lungs are about 7 floors above him, and he's somehow breathing through his skin. And when he was unconscious, they tested him out a little more and put him in a vacuum with no oxygen, and he still didn't die. He just went into a weird stasis. Fury hypothesizes, at least, that Ultimate Wolverine's mutant powers aren't healing, it's instead surviving. Kind of like Darwin. Fury offers Logan his body back if he tells him what happened after Betty Ross arrived, but Logan says he doesn't remember, probably on account of them dropping a fucking bomb on top of his head. Fury whips out a handgun, holds it to Logan's head, and demands to know what Betty and Bruce said to one another. Logan says he doesn't know. That everything went blank, then he's shot in the head. Sometime later, Logan wakes up in a S.H.I.E.L.D. cell beneath a Triskelion, put back together, but with restraints on his hands. Then he smells something from the toilet, and he shouts inside that he knows he's in there, and out pops Forge, who tells him to keep his mouth quiet because he's trying to escape. Forge tells him to stop talking in 25 seconds because of the S.H.I.E.L.D. audio surveillance sweep. So Logan follows that, and then asks how he knew that would happen, and it's revealed that after Forge was detained following Magneto's return, Fury put him to work designing all of the security in the Triskelion. Forge then emerges and reveals a tuning fork he's created to vibrate his molecules fast enough to phase through things, and Logan asks if it'll work on both of them, and tells Forge that he'd really appreciate the help. And after a few hours, they escape into Greenwich Village through the sewer system. Logan tells Forge that he needs something built, or else he'll snap his neck. And later that night, in a lab that S.H.I.E.L.D. did not yet raid, Forge constructs an unbreakable collar that resists all inertia for Logan. Then he asks for another. A ladies' model. A nice his and hers gift. And also he needs to do it quick, because he's got to get to Casablanca. And in his office, Fury watches from his monitors from the cameras that they set up in Forge's lab. A day later, Wolverine is in Hong Kong and tracks down Betty's hotel as she's in the shower. She heads out and finds him waiting for her, and he orders her to put the collar on, or he'll kill her boyfriend. She gloats that if he knew where Bruce even was, he wouldn't be here, and he immediately tells her that he's currently getting ready to take a flight to Casablanca from Vietnam tomorrow morning, noting that it was smart for these Gamma idiots to split up, but they're not as smart as they think they are. She says that Logan is just killing Bruce because he's jealous that Bruce found peace. Logan cracks a joke, and she hulks out, and they fight their way through the hotel floor. She digs her thumb into one of his eyes and screams that he should have never come after her, and Logan snarls that she should have never let him get this close, and he drives 2 of his claws through her abdomen, puncturing a spleen and her kidney, and she stops, and he tells her that if he releases the 3rd into her liver, she's done for. Betty falls over and reverts back as she weakly begs Logan not to kill him because she loves him. And Logan tells her that's too damn bad. The next morning, Logan sneaks a grenade carved out of soap into a man's bag before he passes airport security and uses that as a distraction to sneak onto the plane heading to Casablanca. He walks down the aisle and finds Bruce gazing out of the window lackadaisically, and Logan snaps the collar in place and takes a seat next to him. Bruce asks how he found him. Logan says that there aren't many direct flights, and he also literally heard him scream in the Himalayas, "Meet me in Casablanca." Bruce asks about his eye, and Logan notes that it's a lot harder to grow back than a finger, and then tells her that Betty is fine. Bruce asks if this is going to be another fight, but Logan simply reclines his seat and tells Banner that there's not going to be a fight because Banner is going to kill himself. Logan tells him that the collar is designed to choke him to death if he changes into the Hulk. He doesn't want to kill Bruce. He wants to kill that fucker that ripped him in half and tried to eat his leg. Bruce says that he won't change because he can control it now. And he tells Logan that he's a good person. He doesn't deserve this. And he then tries to argue that he doesn't believe Logan is truly a bad person either. Then he unlocks the plane emergency door and leaps out. Logan sighs, claws his way out onto the plane, shuts the door behind him, and dives after Bruce. He catches him and demands that Bruce change, as Bruce demands that he takes the collar off. Logan reminds him that one of them is guaranteed to survive this, and Bruce cries out that Logan doesn't want to kill him. He wants to kill the Hulk, and he won't change into the Hulk unless the collar is removed, and gives Logan an ultimatum: save Hulk or kill Banner. And Logan eventually, reluctantly, removes the collar, and they slam into the desert, where Nick Fury is waiting for them on horseback. Hulk holds Logan in his arms like a little baby, and Fury jokes that he stole his look. Logan walks over to him and asks why he's here. Fury tells him that he has no intention of hurting them, as Hulk demands to know what he wants. Fury gives him an ultimatum. Either Hulk and Banner go off and live in freedom, but thanks to Logan, who fell for the bait of Forge's escape, they now have Betty in custody, or Hulk comes back and works for Fury and S.H.I.E.L.D., and he could ensure that Betty and Bruce's cells are next to each other. Hulk lifts Fury in his massive, monstrous hand and shouts that he'll never work for Fury again. But Fury retorts that there's someone inside who is deeply in love with the woman in custody. Hulk says that he and Banner are now the same person, and Fury assures him that that is definitely not the case. Hulk lets him go, and Fury notes that Logan is now on his shit list. Logan scoffs and rolls his eye. Then Fury climbs atop his horse and tells them goodbye and makes sure that the Hulk remembers his offer, and disappears. Hulk and Logan set out across the desert. Logan apologizes for the whole Betty thing and suggests that Hulk tuck him under his arm like a football and do one of those giant leaps to the nearest town. And then they trek out into the desert. The end. Hope you enjoyed this episode of What Is. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. It's a strange first meeting of the Hulk and Wolverine in the Ultimate Universe. Overall, it's enjoyable, but it's definitely not a favorite of mine in the Ultimate line. Although it does set up some interesting ideas that are continued in various ways into the future. The Hulk serums, Hulk being employed by Fury as a weapon, which is like a direct thing that explains where and how and why he comes in, both on Ultimates 2 Volume 2, where he's just suddenly in DC for some reason, and 2, during Ultimate Power, where Fury unleashes him on the Squadron's alternate version of Earth. And we actually do get some pretty good character development outside of the X-Men series for Ultimate Wolverine, who is pretty much now just 616 Wolverine in this, aside from like the insane healing survival abilities that he showcases. They sort of got rid of all the weird stuff about this version of Wolverine and just eventually made him just regular Wolverine. It's not a bad story, but it's really nothing phenomenal. It's pretty entertaining, and I think stays in character with everyone that's in it, especially for the time period that it's set, even though so much had happened between issues 2 and 3 coming out. It still retains that sort of era of time of like that almost pretty early on, fairly Ultimate Universe. But why is the Hulk so fucking massive in those last issues? Did Lionel just forget a size chart that day? It looks weird. I guess maybe you could explain it by the transformation Banner underwent with Hulk to, like, you know, fully control it or whatever changed it. That could also explain why he's green in this, because it's never brought up. But those are my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts on my thoughts in the comments below. As always, check out my Patreon, patreon.com/Smokey's videos, and Etsy, blaketwild.etsy.com, as well as my podcast, the Comic Shtick Podcast, where comics are my shtick, and I Need Some Disney, where my Disney-obsessed wife and myself sit down to discuss all things Disney. I will see you next time. Bye!